Joining us via Zoom from Los Angeles, Natalie Sadie, joining us on The Informer. Hello.
Hi George, how are you?
Not too bad. I was just going to say I'm really, really good, and then I remembered that I've just had overload on watching the Democratic nominations and what's been going on. Joe Biden, we know, has picked his running mate, and her name is?
Kamala Harris.
Okay.
First woman of colour running as a vice president, I believe. So exciting times, and we'll see whether they get over the line in under 100 days.
In under 100 days. That almost sounds like the sort of time we're spending in lockdown in Victoria. How many days have we got? We've got weeks here. It's crazy stuff. Pardon me for feeling a little jaded and a little anxious. It's just what happens. As I said to someone only the other day, it's like Groundhog Day. We get up every morning. We have a series of chores to complete. I even have a letter to write, and I need to get that done. Otherwise, it's just another day. Okay, so we know what the Democrats are doing. What's the president doing?
Well, the president is dealing with some storms over in Iowa or through the Midwest.
Is this the storm season?
Well, it is. We're in summer, and so there's tornadoes and things like that are happening. Not much that I've heard about. However, there was one that hit on August 10th, and there has been almost no coverage on this, which is mind-blowing if you see the video footage that comes through.
And the damage.
The local media has talked about this, but certainly not any of the big news outlets. So this storm is called a derecho, which is a widespread, long-lived windstorm that is associated with a band of rapidly moving showers or thunderstorms, and it moves in one direction and typically in a straight line. Now, they're notoriously difficult to predict, and throughout summer, basically the conditions are always there for it to happen. But with this one, and with most of them, there's very little to no warning of it coming. So this one hit, like I said, on August 10th, and the destruction that it left in its path is on par with what you would see from a hurricane. So Cedar Rapids in Iowa was the most badly affected. All 76 square miles of the area was affected. Winds were clocked reaching 140 miles per hour. Majority of all residential and commercial buildings have suffered damage. More than 1,000 homes have been left unlivable. 4 people have died. 3 of them are from Iowa, 1 of them over in Indiana.
So when you talk about 140 miles per hour, we need to remind all Australians that we do things in kilometres per hour. So it's probably 200 kilometre an hour winds, or in excess of 200 kilometre an hour. That's ferocious stuff.
It is phenomenal, and because of mobile phones and technology and all of that, many people took plenty of footage, and there's some incredible clips that have been posted to YouTube. One of the ones that I watched today was a guy who was working in his factory, obviously didn't know what was happening. He was just making a video. He opens the door and you see the storm rolling in, and then there's a series of short videos which he's put together in a larger video. And basically you see the entire roof of his factory get ripped off. He hides in a bathroom while the storm happens, and then he walks out, and the utter devastation it's indescribable. It really is.
Wow.
So this storm left over 400,000 people without power. Yesterday morning, being Tuesday, there was still 70,000 people without power, and they were working to restore that. And I believe today there are still hundreds that have been left without power still. There are people without food and medicine. Now, here's the kicker. Apart from all the damage to people and businesses, 14 million acres of crops have been flattened. 8.2 million of that is corn and 5.6 is soybean. And that is over a third of the state's farmland. And Iowa is the #1 producer of corn in the United States.
Yeah, well, we all know, if we've ever seen the American film Field of Dreams, all about Iowa and the cornfields, and that's a part of America that it's not only a great driver, as you said, it's the grain capital of the United States. So you're going to feel it. So make sure you get your essentials before they run out, Nat. The last thing you want to know is
Yes.
find out, hey, there's none of what I need to make my bread for tomorrow. You don't make your own bread, do you?
This is right. And sorry?
You don't make your own bread, do you?
No.
But it is going to cause some havoc, though. It's going to really affect the situation in the agricultural side of the United States, and it will be felt. It will be felt over the next few months.
That's correct. And Aaron Lehman, who is the president of the Iowa Farmers Union and who is also a corn and soybean farmer, he has said that unlike a tornado, which is about a mile wide, this stretched for a width of really intense damage of approximately 40 miles, but probably closer to 60 or 70 miles, if that gives you
imagine
any idea.
this path of destruction that wide going through Iowa and that area. That's extraordinary. Probably
Correct.
explains why we've seen such phenomenal damage.
Correct. And so the National Guard has been deployed. The Governor, Kim Reynolds, has announced an emergency declaration in dozens of counties in the state, and saying that the destruction was, as we've already said, indescribable. She has requested $3.9 billion in federal aid. That was on Sunday, and 45 million of that has already been approved by Trump, which is the public assistance portion of the request. And he tweeted on Tuesday that the government is in close coordination with state officials. Now, here's a little fact just to finish this story off. Ashton Kutcher is originally from Cedar Rapids in Iowa, and he has been tweeting about this. He was even tweeting about it up until yesterday, and he has slammed the federal government in a series of tweets. And one from Friday is, where is the federal relief for Iowa? 10 million acres of crops have been destroyed. Houses, communities, wake up federal government. What? Because it's not called a tornado or a hurricane, you don't need to act as fast.
So Nat, tell me, just before the next election, presidential race, Ashton Kutcher, is he for or is he against Donald Trump, do you think?
Look, I'm guessing with against. Most celebrities, not all, tend to be Democrats. So I'm going with against, being the fact that he is not happy with the federal response to what's happening in Cedar Rapids. I would say he's voting for Biden.
Well, I would have thought he might be a Trump man, but he might be just trying to remind the president, hey, come on, get your checkbook out. We need some more money in this part of the world. Just being a bit more proactive, that's all.
Look, possibly, but I mean, as we know in Australia, the secret ballot, we'll never know unless he decides to announce it publicly.
All right, well said. All right, stay where you are because we're going to come back. We're going to do another segment. That's
Great.
Natalie telling us in part one of her overseas report what was going on during this amazing week in the United States. This storm, the storm has been known as Harry. It's taken a fearful toll of the Midwest, and we'll know a little bit more about whether Donald Trump comes to the party. And I think he's been asked to spend something in the vicinity of $5.5 billion to help the Midwest to recover from what has been a quite brutal storm. Back with more in just a moment.